So for cold opening, I suggested that we talk about how the dearly beloved Queen of England has coronavirus.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I just found out this morning.
I thought you were gonna say she died.
No, that's the thing. She never does. How old is she? She's got to be in her 90s.
I'm gonna say 96.
She's
okay,
95.
Price is Right rules.
Oh, sorry, I already said it.
You bitch.
Let's see. Oh, she's no, I don't.
Her birthday is April 21.
I searched Queen Elizabeth and it brought up Queen Elizabeth I, and I was gonna make a joke about how nope, she's 500 years old.
She was born on April 21st, 1926.
Let's get her whole birth chart going.
No, that's the 90-year anniversary of General Sam Houston's victory over the Mexicans at San Jacinto, where he earned Texas's independence.
Moose's Texas corner.
I will say, this looks like this just broke this morning. So you're like saying, oh, nothing. Like she just got it, you know. There's still
so
hope.
by the time that this recording, you know, by the time that we publish, when do we publish this? How much time do we have?
She might.
This, you know, breaking news.
The Queen's fucking dead.
The Queen may or may not have died based on the release of this episode.
It's like that song that's like R.I.P. Betty White. She ain't dead yet, but for when she die.
Yeah, it's just good to have a clean recording of us saying it. Just
exactly.
So we can be like,
R.I.P. Queen Libby.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. Breaking news: Queen Elizabeth has COVID. Cut. Breaking news: Queen Elizabeth is dead. Cut.
Excellent.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. We got it. We got it
later. Smart, TJ. Yeah. That's really smart.
I gotta go here.
Yeah. Apparently, like they think that because okay, so the story is that headline one is Prince Charles has COVID. Also, he visited his mom a few days ago.
Okay.
And then very soon after, headline two is the Queen has COVID, and it's like, God damn it, Charles. You really want to be king that bad? Poison your mom with COVID?
Wait, that's her son?
Yeah. Chuck?
Oh my god.
Chuck the pedo.
No, that's Andrew.
Alleged pedo.
No, you were thinking of Andrew?
No, I thought...
Wait.
Well, they both... See, there's a certain point where when you're just like an old person, I can't tell the difference. So like
between
the Queen, the Queen
pedophiles and normal people,
they both look old as dirt to me. So I'm like, that's her.
Wait,
son?
Wait, who the? Okay, I'm confused. Who's Andrew?
Prince Andrew.
Andrew is her husband who died.
No, that was Charles
last year. No.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
No, that was Philip.
So
was Philip.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. That was Philip.
So yeah, Prince
is
Charles.
Andrew Charles's brother?
Yeah.
I
believe so.
Then yeah. That's it.
Andrew.
Jesus Christ.
Prince Andrew is the one who recently settled out of court with a few of his accusers. Prince Andrew was the one that was on Jeffrey Epstein's island.
Okay.
Oh, so it wasn't.
And actually,
Chuck.
he wouldn't be. Oh no, is he? Because he's a duke.
He's the Duke of York.
Like, is he still a prince? Yeah, I guess he is because there's like Prince Harry and Prince William too. So yeah, I guess they're both. Regardless of if they're actually like next.
Yeah, because like Philip was like the Duke of Edinburgh, but he was also like the Prince Consort or whatever the fuck. Like they have lots of titles.
People get so into like royalty.
Dude.
Like it's so crazy because I feel
it's like to me it's like akin to like sports fans.
Yeah.
Like sports franchises.
No. It's more like being into like the Kardashians.
Or that, yeah.
Because at least with sports, it's like there's like some skill involved.
Well,
otherwise, it's just we're
wasn't
interested in
commenting
this rich family just because they're rich and want to be like them.
I was just referring to the fans, not the actual like people or
the culture around
the
it.
Thing that they're doing. But Kardashians is good too.
Yeah. Hey, did you see the match last night when Prince Andrew settled out of court for for all the children he molested.
Allegedly.
Now they're in the playoffs against COVID.
Yeah, allegedly. since we're gonna publish this, we should be careful about libel.
And Prince Andrew has died. I'm hearing it not yet. Prince Andrew has also he shot himself twice in the head.
Twice in the head.
The Queen got shot by the COVID gun.
Yeah, so it was okay. I'm looking at a little family tree here. Yeah, so Charles is next.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just kind of disappeared after like all the accusations. Prince Charles he just went and disappeared into his palace. He's like, okay.
They're just ashamed because Andrew was like the one that got, caught.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the only difference.
All the rest of them are also hanging out.
It's a cursed island over there.
Jesus Christ. I see here. Because Charles was married to Princess Di, short for Diana, and
okay.
In short, because she's.
I'm coming out publicly to mention to just disclose that my Moose Tommy, my alter ego, is Princess Diorama.
That's your drag. That's your drag.
That's my persona. That's my drag persona is Princess Diorama. She's really good at explaining things through miniature.
Okay. And I'm Princess Diarrhea because I have IBS.
And I'm Princess. Let's start the show.
And this is There Will Be Done.
Yeah.
I'm Princess Dudzana.
Yeah.
Or something. Because this is There Will Be Duds, our show, and I'm your co-host, TJ, a.k.a. J-Spot Jack Cheese. And with me, as always,
I am Nick, a.k.a. Dr. Funk on Twitch. And with me, as always,
back from his long hiatus of being a person who has a life, it is Moose. I'm here with my
back from his sabbatical.
my sabbatical. Yeah. Where I actually
you pondered the trees and the rivers and the rocks.
Yes. And I hung out with I was hanging out with my friend Harvey. You wouldn't know him.
Oh, okay. Well, that's funny you mentioned your friend because we watched a movie called Harvey. It's from 1950. Whoop. Okay, starting over. We watched a movie called Harvey from 1950, directed by Henry Koster. It stars Jimmy Stewart as
Koster's Last
Elwood.
Stand. Sorry, go ahead.
Nice.
Very good.
As Elwood P. Dowd, an eccentric man who lives with his sister and niece live with him after his mother left him all of her fortune in their house and stuff. So they live with him even though he is a bit eccentric, and his best friend is a 6 foot 3.5 inch white rabbit named Harvey, who nobody else can see or hear, and they think that he might be losing it, and his sister tries to get him committed to a psychiatric ward, but in a bit of confusion, she's the one that gets admitted instead, and then it goes from there. It all takes place over the course of a single night, and just kind of goes into how Elwood affects everyone he meets with his positivity and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's where we diverge from Wilfred.
Yeah.
I let Moose know that this was an Elijah Wood recommendation.
I didn't even fucking think of that. I wonder if he
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that it was an Elijah Wood one and he was in Wilfred.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wonder
that was the first thing I thought of.
Maybe that was his homework for that movie or that TV show.
He had to watch Harvey.
Yeah.
I will say Kalia was so happy when she heard him say that because Elijah was Elijah was like one of her first like crushes. And she told me last night when we started watching this that I knew she really liked it, but she said this one's in her top 5.
Whoa.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was like a perfect answer for her, unless he'd said like fried green tomatoes or something.
Before we get too into it, I have a burning question.
Sure.
Okay, the rabbit is 6'3.5". Is that including the ears? Because if so, then it's actually kind of a short rabbit.
See, this is kind of funny because I watched it on the DVD, and on the DVD there's an intro to the movie by Jimmy Stewart. It was from like the VHS release because it said it was recorded in 1990. But he mentions how he's like, and actually Harvey is 6'8.5" because I'm 6'3", and to look up to him I had to make him a few inches taller in my head. So Harvey's actually taller than they say he is in the movie.
Oh.
I was gonna say because Jimmy Stewart towers over everybody.
Yeah,
he's like 6'2", 6'3", or something like that.
If his eye line when he's looking up,
he's
then that
looking
means
like
that
this.
it's not including the ears. So he's
Let's see, I'm
6'8.5", not including the ears, and then plus the ears.
You could, well, no, I was gonna say if he was a lop, then you don't have to, but there is the painting of him, and it's pretty
he's got
explicit that he's
erect ears.
I would agree that it is a pretty explicit painting.
Yeah.
So
what if he's like
Vera,
Mr. Krabs and his eyes are on top of his ears?
Oh, gross!
Oh, that's even worse. Well, I'm looking at the movie poster on the stream here. You guys can't see it, but it's the yellow poster from the 1950s, and there's a little cartoon drawing of Harvey on it, and he's like a little bit taller than him. His ears, so.
Yeah, it does seem like I don't know. I'm trying to even if because he looks at him at like this angle. If I'm looking at someone like this into their eyes, that's like 6'5" is like where their eyes are. So that'd only be like 3 inches of ear.
That's not enough.
That's tiny.
That's embarrassingly
that's
tiny. Like
so
no wonder he wears the hat.
So is this considered a screwball comedy from that era? Is this? It's not really about a relationship.
It's,
I guess.
Yeah, it's
Screwball is like
a screwball adjacent, but
like
I think it's a little more.
What was it? Pennsylvania newspaper or whatever the fuck it was called?
Philadelphia Story.
There it is.
The Pennsylvania newspaper.
I think it's a little like tame for a screwball comedy. Like I think a screwball comedy maybe would have went a little bit more with the rabbit aspect, where this movie is very like maybe more realistic about the until basically tells you that Harvey is real, with like everybody else's treatment of it and stuff. It's and I don't know. It some people might still call it a screwball comedy though. I don't exactly.
Doesn't a screwball comedy also have like a bit more like raunchiness, like as sexual as they could have gotten away with back then?
Yeah. Yeah.
There was some innuendo in this one, but it was very
yeah.
And there is some like, because I think it's implied that Elwood is kind of like at least buzzed like most of the time. So maybe
just the way like he all walks he does is like kind of his eyes glazed over a little bit.
Yeah.
Here, let me give you my card.
Yeah, I love. And then he's like the number on top's bottom's the old one. Use the one on top. If you lose it, I have a lot more.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like really good like one-liners in this. There was one I meant to write it down near the end where the cab driver says like, he's like, once he takes that formula, he's just gonna be a regular person. And you know how much they suck.
Yeah, basically. No, that quote is in the Wikipedia article.
Is it?
Yeah, Harvey.
I actually love that the paint and like the reveal of the painting too is like, I don't know, that might be like the biggest single laugh that it got out of me out of the movie when I don't know, just like his holding the timing of it and then like his reaction to like setting it up and like, yeah, that's awesome.
Just the quote is, just a normal human being, and you know what stinkers they are.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Oh my god. So my sister, when she was in high school, the school put on a production of the play Harvey that this movie is based off of, and I was texting her this morning about it, and she thinks that she played the role of the sister Vita, but she doesn't remember exactly. And I was a child. I would have been maybe 4th grade when I went to watch it, and I was just so confused, and the whole thing went over my head because they're talking to like actors who aren't there. It's like, what?
As a child, it's very jarring.
I was so confused. And then at some point I put together that there was a rabbit named Harvey, but I never saw the rabbit, and I was like, why is there rabbits? And also like all the posters about, and like the playbill had a rabbit, and then also I was really like into rabbits because like I was a child, and sometimes you know you can just get like really into something, and I was like, oh yeah, rabbits are cool, but there's no rabbit. And so I could have sworn, okay, now this is where it gets a little supernatural. I could have sworn that you get to see the rabbit at the end of the production. And so when the movie was over and I never saw the rabbit, I was like, wait a second.
That's like a Mandela effect thing.
I know. So I texted my sister, and she said, well, if we did do the rabbit, then it was probably just us being silly, you know? Because it wasn't in the script.
I'd like to imagine.
Like, okay, or like maybe I was just young enough and to see him, you know? He revealed himself to me.
Oh, okay. I like to imagine like when they casted it for the play, like all the kids, like, you know, like you see in TV shows, all the kids run up to the thing stapled onto the wall, and they're like, "Oh, I got this role," and someone's like, "Oh, hell yeah, I got the role of Harvey," and then like when they go to audition, or they go to like rehearsals, they're like, when do I go on? And it's,
I don't have any lines.
He just never goes on because the rabbit's invisible.
He just stays backstage the whole time.
It'd be a very mean prank, but the idea it's very funny to me.
Oh my god!
It's like my character in the Avengers thing we did where I was supposed to play Captain America, but you just kept telling me to go further and further off stage or off camera so you couldn't see me anymore.
The joke for Moose is that in my movie, Nick is he's like an angry producer who's like angry at our like how poorly the production is going so far, so I like appease him by giving him the role of Captain America, but he doesn't know that Captain America died in the previous Avengers movie. So I just like keep telling him that we're like pushing his scenes back or whatever.
That's awesome.
And then,
I feel like we've done this before, probably with like these older movies. So, and there was only one actor where this really like, where I was really like, whoa. But I figured I'd do a couple of them if we want to do a little mini game on like guess the age of the actor.
Yes,
because it's so fucking hard to tell with these old people. So I'll save the one that like that I initially did my Google search for last. So
okay.
Vita. What do you think she is?
The daughter?
No,
the actress. No, the sister.
The sister.
Dude,
I would
50s.
say
62.
62.
Price is Right
Okay.
rules. 55.
Wait,
What'd you say?
Price is Right rules.
55.
Closest without going over.
She's 73.
What?
Oh my god.
She is like the opposite. Like most people in these older movies look way older for
She was
their
like
age.
running
She
around
looks-
and shit.
Yeah, and that one, and then with Jimmy Stewart, guess how old he was when this one came out?
So here's the
Which is
thing.
even weirder to think of, considering how old she was. But I mean, I guess people play.
Well,
out
I think I
he's
know
older
what
and
year Jimmy
younger
Stewart was
all the
born
time.
because I was looking at the thing, so I can do some
I-
quick math.
I know. Well, I know that he was alive in 1990 to do the thing, record the intro.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna guess this was 1950.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm gonna say 24. I think he was born in 1926, same as the Queen.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean I know, so I'll
I think they
recuse
went.
myself.
I think they went to school together.
He was 42.
Whoa.
What? Which I think he looks good for 42.
Yeah.
He does. And also,
Thing is
I
that
think
just a f-
I think the character is supposed to be 45.
Yeah, I think.
I thought it's 35 because
So-
he says
Yeah.
unless are you supposed to like think that was like a
I
few
don't
years
know,
previous?
because Vita says that he's 45 early on. And then
Oh,
later
she
he
does.
says,
Okay.
I've been doing life for 32 years. And it's like, what were you doing the first, 7?
Yeah,
You know.
or whatever. Yeah. And then I'll just do the last one is the one that I looked up for is the guy that plays Wilson, the like orderly.
Oh yeah, that dude. I couldn't tell. You know what? I bet he's like 30. He just has a very.
No, I think he's old. He screams like 53 and a half.
I agree. He does scream 53 and a half. He's 32.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, dude.
That's
Yeah.
an old 32-year-old.
Yeah, dude.
I remember when
That was
my
why I was like, okay, I need to bring this up because holy shit.
my sister also did theater when she went to college, and we went and saw a production. And there was a guy, in the cast with her who was her age. They were like 20, and he was like all the way bald, like an old man. And he was 20 years old, and I felt so bad for him.
Oh man. I
Some
think
people
this
just
guy
look old.
had more hair than that. He had an old face.
He did. He had an old face.
Really old round face with the neck and shit.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was weird when Myrtle May, the niece, immediately was taken with him. I was like, he's gotta be like 20
so
years older
old.
than you. But guess what? She's older than him. The actress that played Myrtle May is 39 here.
Oh my god.
Yeah, she kind of
Yeah.
had like a little bit of an older face. I was like, she's supposed to be playing a younger character.
Yeah,
but
kind of. Yeah. Or is she? Because how the fuck old is
I
that?
don't know.
Is that
Well, I
orderly
don't-
supposed to be?
Well, so I would think that she's probably a teenager. Supposed to be a teenager, because it's supposed to be like
You think that?
because this is like her Mulan moment where she's like trying to meet eligible men to marry.
Maybe.
You know,
But that
I mean,
that's like
in olden times though, I think it was more common for people to be like in their 30s and just starting to
women though. Nah.
I actually think women more so than men.
No, because the men
you gotta
like
be
them
fertile.
young.
You gotta have some babies.
Got all
Yeah.
those eggs in there.
I just mean not across the board, but the mother might have been a little overbearing, maybe.
Yeah.
And also the uncle being mega crazy.
Yeah, that was kind of why I thought, oh, maybe she is supposed to be around 40. Maybe she is supposed to only be a few years younger than Elwood, and because she almost just treats him like a brother because of how she's just like, oh, he's so no. Not that you couldn't think that about your uncles and aunts, but like it did kind of seem more like an even.
Wait.
Like a more.
Okay, so he's supposed to be her uncle, and Vita is his sister.
Mm-hmm.
She's 73. He's 42. The actress is 39. This is the math on this is it's weird. That's jarring. I think Myrtle May, I think she's at that if that's the narrative that they're putting forth in the movie, she has to be portraying like a 20-something-year-old character. I think that's the idea then, because here's my uncle who's 4 years older than me.
So the Marymount Players Incorporated in Cincinnati, Ohio, has announced auditions for their July production of Harvey. And
still getting some stage time.
They're looking to play Myrtle May Simmons. They're looking for an actress between 25 and 35 years old.
Interesting.
Okay.
So,
that's all right. I think that makes sense, because I imagine if Elwood is 45, I think that Vita is maybe like 55. I think she's like a considerably older sibling, but not 30 years older. Yeah. But like he is her baby brother, and I think that's the way that she treats him. So I think there is probably like a decent gap between them. So that would have made her around like 20-ish when she had Myrtle, if that's the case, if I am correct, which I might not be.
So this movie's pretty wacky.
Okay, well, now Growl Theatre in Australia has the age range for Myrtle May. Are you ready? 18 to 30.
Okay, so I guess it just doesn't matter to say that.
And Vita is 35 to 55. So Vita could have had Myrtle May when she was 5.
They're probably going to apply old people makeup. They're not going to cast like a 73-year-old and then have her run around like that.
Unless it was the Thornapple Players, because that's all they got.
I mean, like at the Elkins High School production in like 2005, Myrtle May was played by like a high schooler. So
well, okay.
Well, that's there's not much you can do with that.
They're like, everybody else is in high school, but for Myrtle May they had to cast a 30-year-old. Like, we just can't do it. We can't play her down at all. I think a big reason this movie works for me, and why I don't know, like if a play or any other would really work is Jimmy Stewart. Like, I think I love Jimmy Stewart in general.
Yeah.
But this is one of those movies and those roles where you see like he was born to play it, and I can't see anybody else playing that character. He's like, well, no, okay, it's almost like a Tom Hanks role nowadays. I can't think of like if Tom Hanks were to play Harvey, be like, okay, yeah, he's like the best pick. It's that Jimmy's one of those actors who brings such a like fun, I don't know, like that innocence that he brings to his roles, and that genuine
Mr. Rogers-ness.
Yeah, Mr. Rogers is like a good comparison. Like if he ever acted or whatever, he could have done Harvey. I still think it's as perfect as he is for it. I still don't think I don't think it is my favorite. It's probably my second favorite performance of his, but like at the same time I can't think. No, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington has always been my favorite of his. But that said, like I couldn't think of anybody doing it better.
Yeah, the Tom Hanks comparison is good, because you think about Tom Hanks movies and it's like, no one else can do that role like he can. So
and they're just so like it's hard to have actors that are like as universally lovable as them. And even listening to the DVD intro, it's so fucking cute hearing him talk about this movie, because he'd say like he's got like such an old man voice in it too, so it's even more like adorable.
Yeah.
But he's talking about how like in the years since this came out, people would sometimes stop me on the street and ask, "Is Harvey with you?" And depending on the day, I'd tell them, "Oh no, he's down at the cafe," or he decided to stay home today. And he like talks about how Harvey has like been with him ever since he made the movie.
So
And
sweet.
yeah, it's really cute.
I think Elijah Wood feels the same way about Wilfred.
The same but different, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, why didn't they just like have Wilfred take the ring to Mordor? You know?
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Then he puts it on and he
Nobody
becomes
can see it.
visible.
Yeah, yeah. Before we started recording, Nick made the remark that this movie is drowning in the mid-Atlantic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Listen here, Sonny.
Yeah.
So much of it.
Yeah.
So much. It's like it's almost jarring to hear you guys talk like in a normal voice right now after having watched this movie.
Every monologue that Vita had where she was just like, her voice just stayed in that register where she's like, hello, but the doctor did this. And at a certain point, my tolerance was just like chipping away. I'm like, oh. I mean, it was very much like a play where it was like set pieces. Like everyone just kind of enters from left, enters from right, you know.
And that's how movies were back then.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, because when you think about it, there's only like 3-4 consistent like sets, really. There's the Dowd House, there's Charlie's, the bar, and then there's the sanitarium.
And
that's
the
mostly
law
it.
Offices of Judge Gaffney.
The law offices, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Good point. And then there's like a couple where they go in like the back alley once,
Right.
That's probably, I would
And, like,
assume
walking
in the
down the
play
street.
in this. Yeah, I would assume in the stage version though they probably just like stayed in the bar for those scenes or whatever.
Well,
but...
so according to the Wikipedia article, in the stage production, they just have the 2 settings: the sanitarium.
Dowd
Is that the
House.
word? And the
I
Dowd
think so.
House.
Sanatorium.
Sanatorium. Is it Torium?
I don't know.
I always say Sanitarium because it's a Metallica song, but I don't actually know if there's like a difference. I always say Sanitarium though.
Okay. So a sanatorium is a medical facility for long-term illness, often associated with treatment of tuberculosis before antibiotics.
Okay.
But
So
I would have just called it an asylum
Yeah, it's kind of.
Yeah, I
kind
think-
of. You can kind of use them
or a
both
psych hospital.
interchangeably, I guess.
The place, the medical place.
Where do
Chumley's. We'll just call it Chumley's. Dr. Chumley's
Dr.
place.
Chumley.
It's funny you mentioned the like the monologue like chipping away at you, because, and I mean I guess I get what you mean, like with the sister, but I actually wrote down in my notes that I could listen to Jimmy Stewart monologue all day.
Oh yeah. Well, hey, egg on
there's-
my face. She won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for that role. So
Yep. Yeah. I don't know how he didn't win. I wonder what he was up against, but God, he was so great in this. But yeah, the scene in the back alley that I like had just mentioned is probably my favorite scene in the whole movie. Basically, like where he talks like how he met Harvey and stuff. And he just gets into that soft Jimmy Stewart register.
it's very
it's
comforting.
when he's trying to be serious.
I
Yeah,
know,
it really is.
It was
yeah.
so. I was captured by it. I just
Yeah.
wanted to learn more.
You really get drawn in like anytime he
Yeah.
goes into that voice.
And you know what? His name is actually Harvey.
Yeah, that was so
Whoa.
great. He's yeah.
I nearly teared up.
Yeah, he's like, my favorite. Yeah, he says. I think he says Harvey said.
Yeah, that's actually.
And you know
my
what?
name.
That happens to be my name. Yeah.
Yeah. Incredible work.
Yeah.
You know my name, and I don't know yours. And right back at me, he said, "What name do you like?" Well, I didn't even have to think twice about that. Harvey's always been my favorite name. So I said to him, I said, "Harvey." And this is the interesting thing about the whole thing. He said, "What a coincidence. My name happens to be Harvey."
It's kind of funny where Harvey actually does exist. I thought that was like an interesting choice for the film, where like the doctor goes back to his office and like you see the doors open, because it's like
a horror movie.
Kind of, yeah. I was like,
this is behind him and stuff.
This is about to take a turn into like science fiction. Because see, up until then, I was just assuming it was just like, okay, he's a very pleasant guy, but like he's an alcoholic, or at least that's kind of what they want to imply with that. So it's like, but then they're like, no, Harvey's real.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think the idea is that even then because they mentioned that like the doctor went off with Harvey when he's talking to Sanderson and Nurse Kelly. He's like, oh, the doctor had a few drinks and then went off with Harvey. So I think the movie is still implying at that point that the doctor is just drunk.
Yeah.
And now he's seeing Harvey because he's drunk.
Okay.
But then I don't think you're supposed to know, at least me, because that's how I saw it when I first watched the movie. I still thought, oh, he's just drunk.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I didn't think that until the final scene, which I think is like an 11 out of 10 ending. It's one of my favorite endings. I think it's so because at least the way I saw it the first time, I think maybe helped with it, is like the whole time you're not sure, and then you see the gate thing open.
Mm-hmm.
You see the gate turn by itself, and he's like, and then Harvey walks out. And then Jimmy Stewart says, "Well, thank you, Harvey. I prefer you too." And then they walk down the street together. It's sweet. So fucking good. Yeah.
Now here, okay, because by that point in the movie, cat. By that point in the movie, where he's at the bar and he says that Crumley went to go with Harvey. Sorry, I got distracted because I mispronounced his name. And now I'm really focused on it.
Chumley.
ADHD is a bitch. What were we talking about? Fuck. Oh yeah, by that point in the movie, Wilson had already read in the encyclopedia. How are you today, Wilson?
That's true. I mean, not that there weren't some moments like that. Like, you are right, but I still think the movie could have included like something like that, and then still made this like said at the end that he would. Yeah, like it could have just
kind of keep you guessing. You don't exactly know.
Yeah, I guess so.
So now I had a very different experience watching this for the first time, because I knew it was based on the play Harvey, and literally the only part of the entire play that I remembered as a kid was seeing the dude in the bunny costume at the end. And so this whole time, like, oh yeah, Harvey's real. We're gonna see him later.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was wondering if they were gonna like Who Framed Roger Rabbit this, and like I guess I was wondering if there's gonna be like an animated bunny throughout, but the fact that they played it kind of straight with just like him like putting his arm like, oh, let's go.
So sweet.
Yeah,
that's something that I noticed about Jimmy Stewart's character too, is like he's always like guiding Harvey around, like has his hand like on the small of his back, like he's his date or something. And and at first I was like, okay, Jimmy Stewart's kind of overplaying this whole like imaginary friend miming thing. But then I realized like he's that gentle with everybody.
Yeah.
That's just so. It's
Yeah.
like if there were actually a Harvey, that's exactly how he would be treating him, and exactly how he would be touching him and like after viewing him and stuff.
Yeah, I kind of question that too, but yeah, I kind of fall into that thinking too, and also I don't think it's for this express purpose, but it's nice to have that reincorporated in that final shot where they're walking off in their silhouettes, and he does it again just to kind of,
that's sweet,
show that he's there or whatever.
Can we talk about the cop who literally like the only thing he does is slip and fall and go to the doctor's office?
He does a Ted from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Oh,
I laughed
man.
out loud. I was like, "Oh, this is
he ate shit.
The kind of movie we're gonna watch." I know.
Yeah.
Oh, the doctor will see you now. It's like,
yeah, that was pretty good.
oh my
thought
god,
that
I
was funny.
loved that. Oh, man.
I wrote down the quote, and this isn't the whole quote. It's just what I put down. It's like, your uncle stuck his puss in our nut house.
Yes.
I really like that line. Just out of context, I like that one.
I bet in 1950 that was like extremely saucy to say, unless it has some completely other meaning that like only people from that time period would understand.
It probably does.
I'm assuming
it's like back in the day when calling something a boner meant it was like a joke or a prank. You really pulled a boner on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally irrelevant, but you talked about boners, so I have to say this.
Cool.
I was talking to another graduate student last night, and he said that he studies PP scattering.
Okay.
Short for proton scattering. But he calls it PP scattering. It's like,
yeah, I wouldn't call it
No. It was PP collisions. That's what it was.
PP
collisions.
That's even better.
I know. And he told me that his earlier in the day, his advisor was talking about like how making sure that the PP happens at the right angle. And I'm like, you can't make this shit up.
I think we're doing that thing where we don't have a ton to say about this movie, so we're talking about everything around it.
I don't.
External factors and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating when I like a movie.
Yeah.
But I just can't find much to say other than, Jimmy Stewart is a king.
Yeah.
And it's cute.
I
could just rifle off all the quotes that I like, and then there's this one, and then there's this one.
Remember when he said that? That's great.
Yeah.
I love how gentle. Oh yeah, I guess like I think that Dowd Elwood P is like my role model. He's just so kind, and so like he just talks to all these people and like, oh, here, why don't you come over for dinner tomorrow night? It's just a gathering of some friends.
Yeah.
It's informal. And it's like, I love that.
Yeah. No, he is great. And that's kind of why I think it's one of those that not many people could play, because I feel like it'd be really easy for that character to just be like fucking annoying and be like, oh, I don't know, especially nowadays, because I'm like, in the age where everybody's like a bitter cynic about everything, and like post like positivity about everything bullshit. It's really easy for me to just be like, fuck you. The world isn't great, the world sucks. But it's kind of, it's kind of like Paddington is also a really good comparison. I fucking love Paddington, and it has like the character of Paddington is very similar to Elwood. A lot of that's more chalked up to like the fish out of the water thing, and like he literally, like, because he's from the jungles of Peru, and he's brought to modern day London, so a lot of that is from him like literally like not knowing how the world
like social
works,
cues.
Fish out of the exploded fish bowl.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, listeners. Travis was going to join us this morning, but apparently his cat exploded his fishbowl, and one of the fish died. So let's have a moment of silence for the fish.
A moment of silence for the fish.
Okay, wait. Let me put my turtle suit on.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
I really like this movie. It was fun.
Yeah, Jimmy Stewart is like affable to a fault, to the point where even when they're like taking him into a room to put a syringe in him, he's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, if Vito wants it, then I guess we'll do it.
Yes, I think one of the best examples of that, and I guess this is just me like rifling off another quote, is where I think it's Chumley is like, he's like, your sister tried to, she's set up all this stuff against you. She's trying to like incarcerate you. She already like took out money or like papers against you to try to sue you to get the house, blah blah blah. And then his response is just like, oh, she did that all in one night, huh? She certainly is a whirlwind, huh?
Yeah.
This sister of yours is at the bottom of a conspiracy against you. She's trying to persuade me to lock you up. Today she had commitment papers drawn up. She has your power of attorney and the key to your safety box. And she brought you here.
My sister did all that in one afternoon. That Vita certainly is a whirlwind, isn't she?
A whirlwind. Yeah, like, that's the coolest thing. Like, if someone just shits on you and does a really shitty thing, be impressed by it. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm going to start doing
that.
that.
That's great. Yeah. I'd like... Yeah. Yeah, this is not necessarily about the movie itself, but when I in the midst of my Googling for various things, in the related movies, like number 3 or 4 after like Bringing Up Baby and other, comedies of the era, it was like 3 or 4 was Donnie Darko, which I thought was funny.
It's another 6-foot-tall imaginary friend rabbit.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that was one of my notes. Like, this is like a mid-Atlantic Donnie Darko.
Yeah. Imagine if just randomly at the end, after all this, they're walking down that path together, and then Jimmy gets crushed by a jet engine.
God.
Holy shit. That's good.
And right as it hits, you hear dun 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 dun.
Yeah,
dun,
the
dun,
head
dun,
over
dun,
heels.
dun, dun.
Or it's
Yeah.
no, it's got to be the Mad World, like the Gary Jules Mad World.
Yeah. Over the credits.
Yeah.
Where they like the old like sitcom style credits they have.
Yeah, it's like
and then there's like that final credit with Harvey. And this is Harvey as himself.
Yes.
And you hear the all around
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, the jet engine crushes him, and it's just like freeze frame on that, and you like see one of his legs just like sticking up. Oh God, it's like 1950s like comedy, lighthearted all the way up until that moment, and then he just gets exploded.
Yeah, as much as I said I love the ending, that might be better. That might top it.
Yeah, we got to green screen some shit in, and like we got to redo the ending of Harvey.
Yeah. We can get to ratings pretty soon, but I meant to mention this before. I think this is what I was gonna say before Craig shit it out, because we had mentioned a couple times like how they don't ever show Harvey, but I had the thought like, if it was animated, if they like Roger Rabbited it, I feel like it would have looked strange. It would have looked. Yeah. I would look up Forbidden Planet, which is one of my favorite sci-fi movies. And I think for the time, the effects and how they did it were really cool. But there's this monster that they do, and it is like Roger Rabbited in. It's like this big electricity monster. I think it works more for Forbidden Planet. I don't think it would have worked for something like Harvey. If you're looking for it, I think it's called The Monster of Id or something like that.
I stopped looking for it. I got bored. I'm sorry.
I
got bored looking.
I'm not
shitting
shitting on Forbidden Planet. I think the effects in that movie are pretty fantastic. I just don't think it would have worked for Harvey. And then alternatively, if they'd have done a dude in a costume, have you seen Halloween costumes from like
they're
early
awful
to mid?
They're so bad.
It would have been terrifying. It would have been like fucking Frank from Donnie Darko.
Yeah.
Except it's not Donnie Darko.
Yeah. I mean, even like the painting of
looks a little creepy.
Yeah. Oh God, I googled 1950s Halloween costumes, and like the masks that these kids wore, terrifying, absolutely awful.
Yeah, like Wicker Man type stuff.
They look like the Brood.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god!
Here, let me show you this one.
God. I hate this. I hate this a lot.
Yeah. So imagine if it was like, oh yeah, my friend Harvey, he's really cute and he's my best friend, and then like,
so yeah.
Actually,
not even Halloween costumes, but like pictures of like children sitting on like the Easter Bunny's lap from that time period.
Yeah,
there's like just a series of like just terrible like giant like those not paper mache, but like the mascot heads that are huge and just like 1,000-yard stares on them.
Yeah,
dude, like I wish Harvey is real. Like real. Like I want a puka is what I'm telling you.
He's a puka.
I want a fucking puka, and I want to just like
that would be pretty.
Yeah,
cool.
just like a magical friend that hangs out with you.
Yeah.
I would like, dude, if I had a magical friend, like, to like help me like stay on task during the day, you know, I'd be so productive. I'd stop sleeping through shit.
But then he's with you all the time.
Well, but not all. Sometimes he goes.
Not all the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like, they're separated for like pretty much the second half of the movie.
That's true.
If you think about it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
Because he's not an imaginary friend. He's a puka. He's got feelings.
He's got his own
plans.
Yeah.
He's got his own agency.
His own life. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. It sent. It was just taking a really long time. I found that's like a.
That's freaky, dude.
That's like a production still or something. And yeah, so there you go.
Oh, that's what we could have seen.
I guess so.
I'm glad we didn't.
It's not great.
In fact, I'm sad
put
that
up
I'm seeing it now.
In the VOD. Yeah. And even Jimmy's like averting his eyes. He's not exactly looking at him, but he's.
Have you ever seen like ladies with Botox that's just like the cheeks are like little like it's almost like the Jawbreakers from Ed, Ed and Eddie,
or like the lady in the radiator,
or like the lady in the radiator. Yes, this rabbit looks like the lady in the radiator from fucking what movie was that?
Eraserhead.
Yeah, disgusting.
Like that.
What's her name? Wildenstein, Jocelyn Wildenstein.
That was who I was thinking of. Yeah, or Donatella Versace. I think is kind of.
Yeah.
Like too. I'm trying to go with Harvey. Everything is fine. It's easy. All right, we good to get into scores now?
Yeah.
I'm down.
You good? Okay. Well, how about you start us off, Moose, since you haven't.
Yeah, this was a fun movie. I liked it. I'll probably watch it again. Didn't change my life. I'm not craving to watch it again. We're gonna go 7.
7?
Solid 7. It's up there.
Okay. I'm around the same area. I think Jimmy Stewart's performance really elevates the whole thing. He makes the entire movie work. Honestly, I would I'm like between a 7 and an 8 as well, but I love that ending so fucking much. I think it's such I think it's fucking perfect that it gives it to an 8. I guess that's what
Okay.
I'm saying. That's like if I needed a little like deciding push.
That was it. The ending's really good.
Yeah, ending is amazing.
Yeah, kind of like.
But yeah, like. I was just gonna say we have like really short. We even have super short like wrap ups. Usually we go on for like a minute or two. But
Yeah,
not much to say. It's just Jimmy's king.
Yeah, it's tough because like I thought the movie was overall fine. It was very much of its time. But yeah, I think pretty much I like Jimmy Stewart in just about everything that I see him in. Really liked him in Philadelphia Story. I like him in the Hitchcock movies that I've seen. Man, I haven't seen Mr. Smith Goes to Washington since I was in high school. I think we watched it for like one of my classes, but I haven't seen it since then.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, he's just he's kind of like you said, like the Tom Hanks of his era, just like this very affable kind of everyman, but like who takes these roles, and he's like the only one who could ever do them without being extremely annoying about it. But overall, yeah, I thought it was fine. I thought it was very strange. I thought it was very, very, very strange. I'm just kind of sitting at a 6. I thought it was fine.
6.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. Okay. Speaking of,
You got one.
okay, I kind of.
Okay,
I'm trying
workshop
to think
it. Let's
of
go.
I think the setup's good. I'm trying to. Okay. Speaking of imaginary things, I'm trying to here's a. I'm trying to tie it in like here's an ad break like because for like the revenue that we're gonna get because people watch or listen to our show. That's the imaginary aspect.
Yes.
How about like speaking of
imaginary friends, here's no, fuck, that just still doesn't work.
You, the podcast listener, are our imaginary friends because you don't exist.
Yeah.
listen to the fucking ad.
Yeah.
There, that's the transition.
Make your own podcast with Anchor if you think you're better than us, you pieces of shit.
Yeah.
They have creation tools.
We are back.
Welcome
Go
back
ahead.
from the ad break. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed recording it. Okay, so this week, on Thursday, which is why I couldn't record with you guys, I was watching Rent, the fucking musical. They came to College Station, and I got to see them. And we were sitting like in the orchestra section, and they were just like right there, and I saw it, and it was incredible. I'd only ever seen the movie, and the stage show is so much better. Have you guys seen it?
No.
Even the movie?
I'm not a musical guy.
I'm familiar
I'm
enough.
not really a theater guy.
I haven't seen either.
Oh
No.
my god.
I like being in plays, but I don't really watch them.
So the story goes, there's a bunch of starving artists in New York, and they're about to get evicted. Also, they all have AIDS.
Yeah,
I know the South Park joke.
I have seen Team America.
Yes, that's right. It was Team America.
What's that?
They do a spoof of Rent where like because like the lead guy is an actor and he's in like this spoof version of Rent for the movie, and the song that they're singing is Everyone Has AIDS. And it's just like this like musical rock anthem where it's like everyone has AIDS, and everyone
AIDS.
yeah,
it's very highbrow.
That's awful. Yeah. I loved it. I felt lots of. I laughed. I cried. It moved me, Bob. You know what I mean?
It moved me, Bob.
It fucking moved me. I cried a bunch, and like I was so addicted to it that I then on Friday watched the
Tick Tick Boom.
I want to see it. Somebody told me about it. I want to watch it so bad. So
yeah, I've heard a lot of good things.
So the guy who wrote Rent wrote, composed, who made it. Jonathan Larson.
Yeah, that sounds right.
He made Rent, and then died tragically like the night before the premiere.
Oh shit! I didn't know that.
Yes, and before he wrote Rent, he had this one-man show called Tick Tick Boom.
Oh, okay. So I don't know much about.
Yeah,
I only know from the trailer of what I've seen.
Yeah.
So
he had this one-man show called Tick Tick Boom, and after he died, some other playwrights and composers got together like with his estate and like sort of redid it into like a 3-man show, and then that went off Broadway, and it's in the show. It's like semi-autobiographical. It's about a struggling playwright. And now they've made this movie and released it to Netflix, starring Andrew Garfield, where he plays, the
guy,
the role that's based on Jonathan Larson. And
okay, I thought he was playing him, and they just called it Tick Tick Boom. I thought he was still.
I haven't seen the movie. I don't know how they've done it.
Okay,
but I know that the movie is adapted from the musical that was adapted from the semi-autobiographical one-man show.
Okay. All right.
So we're two adaptations deep, so who knows?
Yeah.
Like maybe he dies I don't even know, like maybe he dies at the end tragically the night before Rent is on Broadway. But I've learned a lot of shit, a lot of really interesting fun facts about Rent. So for example, there was a different guy, I forget his name, that Jonathan Larson that came up with the idea for the musical, and got Jonathan Larson to like write the songs, and so they kind of worked on it together, and then Jonathan Larson kind of took over and the other guy just kind of like backed off. And when Larson came up with the title Rent, the first guy didn't really like it. He's like, that's a stupid name. But then Larson pointed out that rent also means torn apart.
Oh, clever.
I know. And so in the at the end of the first big song where they're like rent, 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 they all sing the whole chorus sings everything is rent, as in their lives are torn apart by AIDS, by financial troubles, by eviction notices. And it's just dude, this isn't just a musical about paying a landlord. It's about just being torn apart. And that blew my fucking mind when I read that. And I just didn't put the words together. There's also a song in there called I'll Cover You, and it's this really cute little duet between the two of the characters, one of whom is a drag queen, and it's just super adorable. But I never, and it's they say, and so it's like, hey, I'll cover you, one of the most romantic things to say to a person, right? Mm-hmm. And I realized there's a double meaning to it. Mm-hmm. It's I'll cover you as in I'll cover your rent, I'll spot you, don't worry about it. And the other meaning is I'll cover you as in I'll cover you with 1,000 sweet kisses is another line of the song. So Larson put a lot of this wordplay in
double
it.
Meaning and stuff.
Yeah. That I've been too dumb to catch myself, and I had to read about it in other places.
Right.
And there's also a part where a couple of characters go to a support group for other people with AIDS, and everybody in the support group introduces themselves. And the tradition is for every performance, the names of those characters changes, and they name them after people that the cast and crew know who died of AIDS. And so it's like a small tribute to those people by having them live on in the musical.
That's cool.
Isn't
That's
it?
really cool. Yeah.
So I think, yeah. So I'm obsessed with it now. I watched there's a recording of the 2008 Broadway production of it on YouTube for free, probably illegally, but whatever. And I watched it, and I loved it. And then last night I watched the movie again, and then now there's I found there's this thing called Rent Live that they did a couple years ago, which is some like made for TV thing they did, and I'm gonna watch that. and then I'll watch Tick Tick Boom, and then I'll probably watch the 2008 version again. I just can't get enough of it. It's like it's super emotional, and it's super gay, and I'm into it.
I'll at least watch Tick Tick Boom, so we could talk about that on a future one.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I want to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of it.
Andrew Garfield is. Oh yeah, I've heard Andrew Garfield's like really good in it, and I really like Andrew Garfield, so I'm happy that he's like got a nomination and stuff.
Has he already for this one?
Yeah, he's got Oscar nominations. They just dropped like last week or whatever. It's like
I think
it's like the only. That's like the only like big nomination that movie got, but. Well, I wasn't necessarily gonna bring it up, but I guess like kind of related. Which is funny since I just was saying how I'm not really like a theater guy. I saw a play on Friday too.
Did you?
Yeah. It was just a local thing. I mean, sort of. It was in Muskegon, which is like by the lake. It was Clue, a stage production of Clue.
That's
which
awesome.
I kind of came away from it how I was expecting to.
Yeah.
I was like, I think they did the best they could, but the entire time I was like, man, Tim Curry's really good in this movie. Man, Michael McKean's really good in this movie.
Yeah.
Man, Martin Mull's all of the people. It's like, man, the movie Clue is really good.
Yeah. Was that
So
was the
it's
play
like-
based on the movie? Then was it like basically an adaptation of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, that's like a pretty popular play, but I am pretty sure the movie was first.
Gotcha.
So from what I'm gathering is that the play was like a 3, but a Muskegon 8.
Sure. Sure. That's a good way to put it. I wouldn't even say like it's that low. I like
Really?
if I'm, I guess it's weird because theater is a different. It's close, but it's different than film. But like
Yeah.
it was like a 6. You know, it was like
Really?
fine.
It was that
Serviceable.
It was fine. There wasn't anything like bad about. I mean, for local theater, right? I'm not going to compare it to like a Broadway
Right.
production and be like, well,
Right.
no, they didn't. You know, there weren't like fucking
Well,
lights
that's the
and
whole
pyrotechnics and
that's,
stuff.
That's why they're a Muskegon 8. Like that's the qualifier.
Right, yeah. Sure. A Muskegon like
A
7
Muskegon
or 8,
6.
sure. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought like everybody did a good job. I you know, but it's not just the performance. It's not just like the acting, although that is a major part of the movie because I think that movie has maybe the like most perfect cast. I don't know. It's up there for
Yeah.
me. It's such, everybody is on fire the whole fucking movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's not a weak like aspect to that cast.
Yeah.
But also something that you can't help in a stage production anyways, the editing also really makes that movie.
Yeah,
The editing
you're
is
exactly
so
right.
key to the comedy in that movie. And I mean, no matter how good your stage production is, you're not going to have that.
Yeah.
So
So
Yeah.
now, conversely, there's stuff you can get away with in a play that you can't get away with in a movie. So,
Like what?
So okay, Rent's like a specific case because it's like a musical, right? But it started out as the stage production, and then they adapted it into the movie. And in the first couple of songs, they introduce all the characters, and then there's lots of different things happening at the same time in different parts of the stage. and then
Okay.
and they're happening at the same time, and they're doing these duets but they're not talking to each other, and it's like you can't really do that in a movie unless you like do a split screen thing, and that just kind of takes you out
or
of it.
you just frame it like a musical, like you just get that wide shot of everything going on. But
yeah.
But then if one person's like, so okay, there's like there's a song towards the end called America, and they're singing about how living in America sucks, and the I guess the main character Mark, who kind of serves like as the narrator, is he's in New York, and he's struggling with like he's a filmmaker, and he's struggling with like he sold out and started working for this TV channel, and he kind of hates it, and he's saying about how much it sucks. And then his former roommate Roger has moved across the country to Santa Fe to like start his like music career, and he's struggling over there too, and they're both just upset with where they are in life, and so they both are singing a duet together about how like, frustrated they are.
I see.
Yeah, and so the blocking is really interesting because they'll take turns being like one will be like stage left but like close to the front, and the other one will be stage right but close to the back, and then they'll switch, and like one goes forward, the other goes backward, and then they turn and like walk across the stage, and like walk past each other and just singing, and it's incredible to watch because they're having the same feelings at the same time, but thousands of miles apart, and you can't. It's very tricky to do that in a movie, and I think and so I actually only managed to stay awake for the first like 15 minutes of the movie because it was really late last night, but they had to rearrange a bunch of stuff from the beginning of the play, and like because they just couldn't make it work. And so they started with like the third song, which is the rent one in the movie, and then they just, and so it's like because so like their landlord is their former roommate, and he sucks now because he's a capitalist, and so they have an altercation with the former roommate. Like he calls him on the phone or whatever, and he's like, "Hey guys, like rent's due," and they're like, "What the fuck, man? You said we were good." And then later they sing about how they're gonna get kicked out and they, need to pay rent. But then in the movie, they sing about how they hate that they're that they have to get kicked out and then rent. And then afterwards they introduce the former roommate, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna kick you out if you don't pay rent." And it's just kind of like it's back, like you can't get away with it. It's difficult to adapt it to film. And it's kind of like the reverse problem that you were talking about, TJ, with Clue, because like the editing, I guess like editing and blocking in a stage, I guess they're like one thing you can do in one medium that you can't do in the other one.
No, I agree. Like the way you're describing that, the phone call song or whatever, sounded really cool, and like I totally agree that there are things that work better for either medium. I do think Clue is another unique case in that it is a play, but again, maybe I should look it up, but I'm pretty sure it was the movie first, so it was like it was written for a movie. So I mean, obviously it's going to be more it's going to work more for that. Even though the movie does come off as like, oh, it does seem like a play at the same time, I guess. Like it seems like totally, you can totally see the like transition from being a movie to a play for sure. I think the thing, like what you're talking about, is maybe more, and this is talking from somebody who is not super familiar with theater and even less with musicals. But I do think that like the blocking with like all the different stuff, maybe that's more common for musicals. Maybe the gist that I get from a lot of fans of musicals is kind of like the opposite of what I was saying with with the Clue play, where whenever there's an adaptation of a musical like Rent or Phantom of the Opera, it seems like the general consensus from musical theater fans is like the movie was about as good as they could make it, but it's not gonna match the the scope of the stage production. It's not gonna like be as impressive.
Exactly, like with Phantom of the Opera in particular, like when the chandelier falls, that it swings over the fucking audience.
Oh, see, can't really do that.
You can't do that in a movie.
Well, that's
not even in a 3D movie.
Well, I think that's what I was kind of about to get at. Is I think the key difference is less about like visual stuff and like editing, which like those are key things, but I think the main difference is space, like being in the room. And like in a movie it's a very static thing. You see the performances that were deemed the best by the director, and this is what you get. But if you're in the musical theater, there's that give and take from stage to audience, where the stage people on stage can feed off of like the energy in the audience and vice versa. And I think it's almost not even really right to compare the two, because they are such different mediums in that regard. So it's like it's not like a movie, it's not like a theater production. It's like, well, they're too it is 3D because you're there. It'd be it'd be like going to see like I don't know what would be I went to go see Seven or something, and I was like walking around the streets of Chicago, and like it was happening in front. I don't know.
You're right. Like the give and take with the audience, like, and you can use that to your advantage when you're there. Like, so for example, I keep talking about Rent because I just saw it. There's a scene where one of the characters does like a one-woman show, sort of like to protest the evictions and stuff, and it's based on the rhyme, like the Cat and the Fiddle, and then the Cow Jumps Over the Moon or whatever. And then when she gets to the part where the cow jumps over the moon, she starts mooing, right? And then encourages the audience to moo with her.
Okay.
Because in that moment, we are the audience watching her one-woman show at the protest. You know?
That's cool.
You can't do that in a movie.
Yeah. There's also like, I mean, the fact, and I know there are like video recording, like like you can watch like the Cats stage performance on they have it on tape. I understand that, but like the other thing is that you could just not only the fact that like they're like being in the physical space, but like literally like you can only really see that's like your only option to see most stage like theater or musical or whatever, whereas like live movies you can watch it on your fucking telephone.
Like, get real,
so it's like I was saying before that it is, they are similar mediums, but there's also like a lot of it's why you can't, like, I hate anybody who's like, I don't know, and I used to do this too. I'm not gonna absolve myself, but comparing like to the book, and like, oh, it wasn't as good as the book, and it's like it's a completely different thing. It's so hard to compare a movie to a book, like literally. And most of the things are like, well, they left out this scene or they left out this. It's like, I don't know, like I don't know. I have to get into like two specific examples, but I don't know.
You're right, and I try to approach adaptations as like a totally new piece of art that's inspired by this other one.
I was just gonna get into that next. That recently I've kind of went with that too, to where like I really like how Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg's adaptations of Preacher, Invincible, and The Boys have been, to where they are similar. It's all the same characters. Overall, it's the same trajectory of the plot in the comics, but they're so different in like a lot, like little minor ways. Some characters are different. And I think I like it a lot more than if they had tried to just do like a straight up adaptation.
Yeah.
And then
I think we said the same thing about Invincible.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned that one in there too because they did that one as well.
Did you say Invincible?
Yeah, they've done Preacher, Invincible, and The Boys.
Dude, I totally missed it.
Oh, sorry. And then
I don't listen to the podcast even when we're recording it.
Yeah, I don't think there's like a. It might be depending on the source material too. Like maybe sometimes I'd just be like, no, just do the actual thing. But I think for the most part nowadays I'm cool with taking it in a new direction. Like, kind of in that. Interestingly, there's you have Watchmen, which did have a pretty extremely direct adaptation in the 2009 film, which I love. I know a lot of people don't. I know a lot of people have like issues with like how it portrays the heroism, which I get, but I still really like the movie. And then HBO came out with the show, just the 1 season show, so I guess kind of a miniseries, a couple years ago, which is a completely new thing. And I fucking love that too. So both things could have potential. Both ways to take them could be good. I just don't subscribe to the like. No, it has to be what's in the original book, or else it sucks.
Right, because it makes me think of The Shining. I feel like The Shining is a really good example because
that is a really good example.
The Stephen King novel and then the Stanley Kubrick movie, I view them almost as companion pieces, and if you try to compare the two, it's like it's futile to try and do that because Stanley Kubrick, they're both they have their visions in very separate ways, and it's like, okay, well the book deals with these issues and has this kind of message, and like, oh, that's interesting, like it's pretty good, and then the movie has these issues. It's like the same characters, but it's like if you try to compare the two, you're just going to get frustrated. And like Stephen King notoriously does not like the Stanley Kubrick adaptation. And I guess maybe he has more of a reason to than we do because like that's his work and like his story, and like he kind of saw it. He's like, no, I had this. But then he was like, let me show you my real vision. And then he made that made for TV one that's dog shit. Another more recent example I think of is Annihilation. The Alex Garland movie.
I don't know that one.
It's have you seen it, TJ?
Yeah. I've seen it. I don't know the books, but
okay.
I've seen the movie.
Yeah. So, basically, from what I've gathered, Alex Garland read Annihilation, the novel, one time, and then wrote the screenplay for the movie. And it's like there's elements there. It's like the location is the same, but the main story of Annihilation, the novel is like nearly completely. There's still the same locations. Like there's the lighthouse that she goes to, but like in the book, her whole time is like spent in this underground tunnel that they find that she just keeps going down staircase after staircase after staircase, and there's like this like glowing lichen that's like it's this she calls it the crawler, and it's this guy who's just like going down each stair just writing these passages on the wall in this glowing effervescent color, and like she's trying to get to him, and it's completely different. But it's like some people are like, oh, the movie's this way but the book is this way. It's like they're same thing with The Shining. I enjoy both adaptations quite a bit, and I think getting bogged down in, well, they left this part out of the book. It's like, well, go read the book then. I don't know.
Yeah, and I sometimes people will make make a movie that's an adaptation of a movie, like Pink Panther.
Oh, like the remakes with Steve Martin.
Yeah. Like that's nothing like the original ones, except there's a diamond and an idiotic French inspector.
Yeah.
Or even
I haven't
like
seen the ones, but-
like superhero movies, you know, like how many reboots of Batman have there been?
Yeah.
And they're all different stories, and
Yeah.
and the characters have different personalities, even, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just whoever that director is like that's their vision for how a story with these characters could have played out. And then people don't get mad about that as much, you know.
Yeah, except post Christopher Nolan Batman, because they've just been trying to recapture that magic again.
That's a bummer.
Yeah,
because that was magic.
Yeah,
That was almost as magic as having a puka. Christopher Nolan's Batman is my puka.
There you go.
I'm a puka. Where's Harvey?
Hey,
whoa!
Like Harvey.
We did it.
Art be different sometimes.
How come in this age of streaming, we don't have miniseries that have like different length episodes as you go throughout the season? Just like how in a book you have different length chapters, you know?
Sometimes it happens.
Why try to cram it all into the same like 40 minutes or whatever, when maybe this one is worth an hour and a half and that one's only worth 10, you know?
It could be just because that does happen with shows where they have to like, you know, add or subtract scenes to fit the length. But I feel like some of it could just be like, as writers, maybe that's what they're used to. So like they know, like, I have to, you know, I'm writing an episode and I am used to writing an episode that's like this length. So, you know, they all end up being about the same length. Maybe as time goes on and streaming is, you know, as newer people who didn't write for like pre-streaming services come in, maybe that'll happen less. It happens sometimes though. I know there was like a 30-minute episode of Squid Game near the end, and like all the other ones were an hour. So they'll have that where like an episode in the season will be shorter.
I'm thinking of Arrested Development season 4 when that initially came out, because there were episodes that were like 22, and then there'd be like 45-minute long episodes, and then
that's true.
They just they all seem to have random. I mean, I think for some shows you will get that with like season finales, like we just finished the 4th season of
like
The
a double
Sopranos, and
episode.
that was like an hour 20 instead of just like the standard hour long. But that was also the season finale, and they covered a lot of ground.
That was a really common thing. Yeah, like every season finale for Lost was like 2 hours long or something. Yeah, that's what those big shows did back then.
Which is so funny that, because I don't know if you saw this, but like Better Call Saul, they're splitting it up into like 2 seasons.
They're doing that
for the. I feel like there was another show recently that said that they were Stranger Things. They're they're releasing like the first part of it in May and then the second part of it in July or something like that. Mm-hmm. But then there's still like another season that they put, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, those kids are like almost in their 20s now at this point. Like, I don't know how they're gonna deal with that.
That was I always like when our like post chats like just start with like, I think that was like a good convo that just started with like, oh, I saw a play, and then those ones that kind of spiral off into like
talked about like
commentary on shit in general,
adaptations.
Yeah,
Art be different.
Yeah,
art be different.
Yeah, so I think I know the order I'm gonna do them in, because I wanna kind of like split up. Basically, there's, not counting the dud, there's 2 English American movies, and then there's 2 foreign movies, so I'll alternate us, I guess. So next week's movie is a recommendation from David Yost, who is he's Billy Cranston, Blue Ranger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Okay.
Is from 1998, Run, Lola, Run, directed by Tom Tykwer, which I've never seen, but I always remember seeing this on my uncle's DVD shelf, and it's like, I know it's like one of his movies, and I always wanted to see it because of that, like seeing that DVD case. from what I understand, a very different movie from Harvey.
An experimental thriller film.
Yeah.
A German experimental thriller.
Hell
film.
Yeah. German.
We're gonna get erudite and artsy up in here.
Is this gonna be another Eraserhead?
No, I don't think so. No. I've never seen it, but I don't think it's like that. No, I think it's like it's like a thriller action. I don't know.
Experimental. It always gets me wondering, like, was it a failed experiment or was it an experiment?
Nice.
Was their data peer reviewed? Like,
yeah. So if you don't want to be spoiled for Run Lola Run, watch it before next week's episode. It's on Amazon, YouTube, Vudu, Apple TV, Google Play for rent.
Mm-hmm.
Which also means to split something, but not in this case. In this case, it just means to watch the movie.
Exactly.
Speaking of things being on platforms.
Yeah, so it's on those, and we are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and we do our video streams on Twitch and YouTube. All the episodes come out on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. EST, so be there. Or be square, I don't know.
Yeah.
I hate myself.
We're calling you out.
Solid.
Being square.
Solid.
Yeah. And I am your call it 6'3" even imaginary friend TJ, aka J Spot Jack Cheese, and with me as always
I am your 30-year-old guy who has an old face and might look like a 40-year-old Dr. Wilson. Nick, aka Dr. Funk on Twitch, and with me as always,
I'm your crazy Mr. Rogers ass uncle, Moose, or Tommy. Tommy's my Christian name. Moose is my satanic name.
Oh, okay.
There we go. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Successful podcast completed.